Over this weekend, a major scandal erupted as many prominent personalities on the right started promoting individuals who receive welfare benefits buying soda pop. You know, over in Chicago, we call it pop. That's right. And if you go outside of that region and ask someone for a pop, they will think you're insane. I learned this the hard way. Well, I'm from Chicago. To be fair, nobody says Chicago. That's fake. That's from movies. But the story is this. Big company called Influenceable is reportedly paying influencers upwards of $1,000 plus to advocate for welfare recipients' ability to buy soda.
Oh, buddy. All right, you know the drill. Showtime.
Give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money.
Good news! After dealing with Patreon's stupid bullshit everything, I have finally been able to get fully approved, which means now when I get money, I can actually have money. Therefore, I am going to point you at the Patreon once again, because I like money. I'd also like to point you to the Rumble account, because I will be having a censored version of this video up on YouTube. Haven't had to do that for the past couple of videos. That's kind of new. But all my content makes it on there, and anything that I had to, censor for YouTube's policies is going to be not fully censored there. Rumble has their own policies, but whatever. Also, check out the Discord. There's actually some special channels you get access to if you're a patron. So if you get those, they go hand in hand, which is a lovely deal. The buy one, get one free deal. Yeah. I do believe that should be everything. Oh yeah, if you do subscribe to the Patreon, I will be putting your name at the end of the video once that starts happening. All right. So yeah, give me money and call me a dick. That's my motto. On to the video.
If I'm able to drink these and I don't change my opinion on anything, then we know I'm not a grifter. Because this somehow actually can determine if you're a grifter.
So today is definitely going to be an interesting one. Kind of a... I don't want to say a full-on sequel to the last video, but kind of related. I want to talk about grifters. Especially, kind of on the right-leaning side of things. That's more the side I lean on, and I think I've well established that part of my reputation here is going to be criticizing my own side very heavily. But, so, funny thing, I actually expected this video to take me a lot longer. I thought I was going to have to do a lot more research and whatnot to do this video. But then, not even an hour after I decided to do this, Tim Pool released a video about how some right-wing influencers got caught being paid to push against a new policy. Basically, you can no longer use food stamps to buy things like soda. You can't use food stamps to buy soda. And then all of a sudden, all these right-wing influencers came out saying almost the exact same thing about how, oh, this is a government overreach. How could they, yada, yada, yada. And then turns out they're all getting paid to say it. I forget the app that they're using. It's some app where it's like, oh, you can put up a thing to pay so much per post to say a certain thing. So it's not like this actual app or this service doing it. It's they're just hosting it, but it's probably soda companies. It's probably soda companies like, hey, we'll pay you so much per post to push against this policy change, to speak out against it. Hence the video title. Oh my god. I'm sorry, this is funny. A bunch of grifters got ousted by soda pop. That's hilarious. That's actually just hilarious. Hi, Kitty. Kitty has come to say hello. She likes to do this when she sees me on the mic. So yeah, no, that alone is gonna make this a lot easier of a video to do. Now, I figured a good way to start off this video would be to, define the word grifter. What is a grifter? So a grifter is a person who engages in petty or small-scale swindling. Transformers? And swindling is just conning. To use the definition, use deception to deprive someone of money or possessions, obtain money fraudulently. It's con. It's conning. A grifter's a con artist. Simply put, a grifter's a con artist. However, I think we can expand the definition basically due to YouTube, the advent of being able to get popular online, make a living off of content like this, political commentary, etc., etc. I would say that it is also somebody who uses deception to gain social gain as well, basically to build up a following and use that to either push an end goal or to gain money again. Because let's be real, getting a following on YouTube, for example, is money. Popularity is money in that case. And this is kind of a really big thing on the right. I'm sure it's on the left as well, but I don't look over at their influencers as often, obviously. But yeah, no, it's a big thing here. Like I said, like the Stim Fool video pointed out, these people were being paid to retaliate against policy. Why would you do that? Well, you would do that to counter a policy, to get people to push against that policy. You want people to vote against it or petition against it or whatever. But this is an interesting phenomenon because, well, before, right-wing grifters just kind of wanted to use the right wing and then dip back when, companies and social groups and whatnot saw liberalism as the dominant ideology instead of modern conservatism. And that's one of the things that makes this whole soda thing interesting. These companies are instead reaching out to right-leaning individuals to push their agenda. Why? That's the sort of question that brings up, is why, after nearly a decade of pushing for, the college-educated left, or as I like to call them, communist dumbasses, or just dumbasses. They're kind of just dumbasses most of the time. I think that really shows a prominence in, the shift of ideology. The current ideology of the U.S. is more right-leaning, and right now right-leaning just means normal, kind of, which also means you're going to see a lot more of these types of grifters. Now, there are two types of grifters that I have personally seen on the right. The people who don't actually believe what they're saying entirely, or maybe they do, but they're playing things to an extreme for some sort of monetary gain. And then there's people who are using the right side of things, using the right wing to push their own agendas. Because I was originally going to try and sift through a bunch of different commentators and whatnot, and that's why I was thinking this video was going to take so much longer. But I think now that this is kind of in the news, there's a few things in the news actually that I can go to. I can be more general, and I can limit the amount of examples I need to pull up. If you want me to, though, I would not be against doing another video where I will just go through a bunch of right-wing commentators and influencers and go through and see who I think is a grifter and whatnot. And that is something I will say as well. I am going to be somewhat speaking from opinion here. This is opinion based off experience, and some of these people I know are going to be extremely popular. And this will probably piss off a lot of people. I also don't care because you know what? Rage bait gets me clicks. The difference between me and a grifter is I'm honest about it. Alright, so the first one I kind of want to look here is my personal favorite example. Endymion. 331,000 subscribers, 634 videos. This guy, like, I don't even need to click on his stuff to make a point here. I probably will, but this guy is probably the most blatantly obvious example of a grifter. Like for example, look, fired! Rachel Zegler's Snow White shut down by Disney. Let's go ahead and actually fact check that. Despite ongoing speculation, Rachel Zegler has not been fired by Disney. And let's go down. This was funny. Warhammer 40k is losing players' trust as trans activists hijack hobby. I mean, he's not entirely wrong there. I'll give him that. Or shit like this. Helldivers 2 director lies about rejecting Sweet Baby Future. That's just not true. Yeah, we're gonna piss off all the Helldivers haters again today, guys. We're gonna. There's a video in particular I want to see if I can find. Suck my nuts. There's like a couple videos. I don't know if they were back to back. It was like there's one video where he's talking about Space Marine 2. It's like, this is the great and ultimate. This is such a win for gaming and for anti-woke. And then like the next video, he had to fucking walk it back because he said, I forget what it was specifically, but it was funny. It was funny. For a while there, he was pushing this whole Space Marine 2 is gonna kill Helldivers 2 bullshit. Shit like this. Helldivers 2 devs bend the knee to pro-LGBT agenda? Gay? And you even watch his video and that doesn't even come up. Also, the number of times he uses this thumbnail. Good lord. Games Workshop panics as woke activists reject Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. No, they didn't. That didn't happen at all. Fuck off, YouTube. That didn't. That did not happen. So yeah, straight up, I think that to an extent here, Warhammer 40k adds trans Space Marines. So yeah, because I think Endymion, he is right wing. He believes the stuff he supports, but he also is aimed more at getting views. And now he's getting less clickbaity. What the holy shit! Did we actually scroll back to the point where he was normal? God damn! I think we found when he was normal. Holy shit! But yeah, so I think with Endymion, he believes the stuff that he supports. Like, he's pushing things he genuinely believes to an extent, but he also very clearly is more geared towards getting reactions, pissing people off, getting clicks, getting views. to the point of just straight up lying. He is manipulating you for your personal ideological beliefs to gain views and to gain content. So I think he would fall under the camp of he believes that he is right wing, but he is exaggerating and taking things to an extreme and misleading people for his own personal and monetary gain. All right, now next up here is this. Wait, hold on, no. How did that get hit? No, how did that? No, how in the world did that? No. Just pretend you didn't see this. Just pretend you didn't see this. But yeah, no, it's technical difficulties. Ignore that. Next one I want to look at is Candace Owens. So, we've looked at a person who I believe is an example of a grifter who is using your ideologies for monetary and social gain. Let's look at a grifter who is trying to use your ideology to push their agendas. Breaking: Andrew Tate reacts to Florida prosecution. How we faked the moon landing with Bart Sibrel. This man helped Kamala Harris, and he mysteriously died. And I'm so the thing with canned ass, she is much more. She's alt-right essentially, or I believe that the more accurate term is what is it? I forget the term, but it's essentially a form of National Socialism that uses Christianity to justify its existence. For the love of me, I can't remember what it's called now. Hold on, let me Google it. Christian nationalism. And Christian nationalism itself as an ideology is built around manipulation. Christian nationalism to a Christian is going to sound fine until you realize what it actually is. Because on the surface, it sounds like, and they actively paint it like, oh yeah, we just want to put God back in charge. We want to push Christian ideology, and pretty much every Christian's going to be on board with that. And it's one of those weird woke ones. But then you actually start looking into the ideologies of what it's pushing and what they actually want, and it's just National Socialism, which for those of you who don't know, that's the actual full name of the Nazis. And she, along with a lot of Christian nationalists, is an example of somebody who is grifting the right to push an agenda. They are not actually conservative. They do not actually believe in conservative values and ideologies, but they know how to gear themselves and speak in a way that will enforce Christian or enforce what they want, and will get people who are just conservatives and are just Christians to support their ideologies and further their agendas. That's, I would say, even more dangerous than just a monetary grifter, because somebody who's just in it for money and views, they're going to grab it and run. You're going to be down a few bucks. Somebody like this is actively going to push things that will destroy what you want and destroy society. Now, I'm not going to go through any in-depth breakdowns of anything, really, anything video-wise, but I would definitely not be against it. So I guess let me know in the comments below if you want me to, go through one of hers, or really just any of the people I mentioned in this video, if you want me to go through some of their more dedicated content and actually break it down step by step. But for now, I just want to do something more generalized. But yeah, this is an example of what I would call the other kind of right-wing grifter, who is actively trying to use your your ideologies and your views to actually further an agenda that does not agree with you and would actually destroy you if they got a chance. Now, I originally planned on actually getting way more examples in this, but I think that for just a more generalized video like this, the examples I provided are decent enough. I might go through and do a more dedicated video sifting through people and, trying to figure out who isn't a grifter in that. If you are more interested in something like that, let me know in the comments below. But I actually wanted to take a minute to talk about really how to tell who is and isn't a grifter. Because the thing about grifters is they're good at convincing people. They're good at getting people who actually do believe in this case, right-wing ideologies, and taking them for a ride for everything they're worth, or using them like a useful idiot. So how do you discern a grifter from somebody who genuinely believes what they're talking about? And the answer to that is quite simple. If you're a Christian like myself, you're probably familiar with this. You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. How do you tell if an apple tree is a good apple tree? You look at the apples it produces. If it is consistently producing good, healthy, edible apples, it's producing good fruit. It's a good tree. If it's producing weak, sickly, rotting, not good fruit, it's a bad tree and it needs to be cut down and removed, because it is at that point it is soaking up the nutrients and whatnot that good trees could be using and producing garbage, probably because it's sick. You look at these people and you judge them by their actions. You look at them and you determine, okay, if you are somebody who genuinely believes this, does your actions line up with this? Do they lie a lot? Do they exaggerate a lot? Do they shift opinions frequently? Um, are they kind of, avoiding answering certain things? Again, look at what they're doing. Somebody who genuinely believes, somebody like, Steven Crowder. And I know that that's probably going to get me a lot of flack, but he genuinely, you know what? I think that's actually another good example too, because the whole Steven Crowder versus Daily Wire BS, when they were looking at possibly bringing him on board, all of a sudden all this crap came out where this deal was a very predatory deal. And when Steven Crowder first mentioned it, he avoided naming names, but he used it to criticize an issue he saw in the industry. Meanwhile, Daily Wire came out, immediately started throwing shit, admitting it was them, and essentially, trying to defend it as a industry standard. Or you got people like Tim Pool. Now, I know Tim Pool is center leftist more than anything, but he is very much a give it as it is guy. And a lot of times, even he has admitted, when you're a give it as it is guy, it tends to be more right wing. And he is actively shutting down his business's operations in Virginia due to his ideologies and problems he has with things there politically and ideologically and whatnot. That's the difference between a grifter and someone who's genuine. Or at least to me, what I would see as the biggest one is, are they going to uphold their morality when it could hurt them financially or when it could hurt their popularity? Or are they going to do whatever pleases the masses so that they continue getting their money? Like, for example, with the Endymion thing, 1 minute he's talking about how Space Marine 2 is this great win for gaming, yada yada, and then, like, at least a couple videos later, he's having to walk it back. Or things of that nature. Grifters are entirely built around being people pleasers because they need you to like them. They need you to agree with them, or else you will not give them your money, or you will not push their agendas. So, if you're trying to figure out if somebody that you like watching or somebody that you've stumbled upon is a grifter, judge them by the fruits that they bear. Are they wishy-washy? Are they changing their opinions? Are they saying whatever they have to get the most positive outreach and the most positive, outcome, or do they stand by what they say? I know that I push my Patreon a lot. I even did it in this video. I try to play it up as a joke for a reason, because at the end of the day, while I do want to get to a point where I can make money off of this, this is more about me sharing my views and pushing the end goals that I want, but I want to do it honestly. I see problems with society. I see problems with not just, the far left doing things, but also the right doing things. I see issues. I want to call them out, and I'm going to do everything in my power to stand by my opinions, even if it hurts me. And that's what I would look for from any other content creator like this. And hopefully that's what you look for as well, instead of just an ear tickler.
I want to thank this motherfucker. Yeah, I want to thank this motherfucker for buying me soda for the video. Fuck you.
Thank you for watching this video. I asked once again that you give the Patreon and the Discord a check out, and I also asked that you go ahead and subscribe. I have 10 subscribers and I get 7 times the views. So I would appreciate if you give a subscription, make sure you like, and again, if you got money and you think I'm worth money, I love money. Yeah, you have yourselves a